Welcome back to Peeling Back the Mask. I'm your host, Jason Davis. Ever have a day where you feel like just fucking everybody is just out to pile on top of you and just, regardless of what you do, find a way to twist your words or just argue and I'm mentally and emotionally exhausted today. I have a couple of friends. They're a couple. And they're also friends with my wife. Okay, so anyway, they've been posting on Facebook the sale of puppies. So I wasn't sure if it was actually them doing it. So I never really said anything, and I didn't want to say anything just to kind of preserve our friendship, because I'm fully against that. Especially given that here in Mexico there are dogs in the street all over the place. People abandon dogs of all ages, including puppies. We all know about puppy mills and how horrible they can be, or the vast majority of them are. And so I'm really against it. But anyway, I saw these, and I'm also in a group to help find lost dogs and dogs in the street that people find that are really in need of attention. And they put dogs up that have been injured. They take them to the vet and get them all healed up, get them neutered or spayed or whatever. And then they put them up for adoption. So people that are really responsible. But you see these posts of these exposed puppy mills, and what they do to the female once she gets sick or she can't give babies anymore. And they'll either kill them or just throw them out in the street to starve or die. And so I put up a post that said, "No to the sale of pets. Adopt. Don't support people who live off of the sale of animals, or pets." And almost immediately, this couple jumped in, and I didn't ticket them on the post. I didn't mention them anywhere, nothing. And they just automatically jumped in there and just started attacking me. They started joking about the fact that they are into the sale of pets, and that they don't care if the people that adopt them look after them or feed them properly or whatever. And I felt really betrayed and of course attacked, because I considered these people my friends, and my closest friends, actually. They're the ones that we spent the most time with. And so I don't know whether they've given up or whatever, but I basically at the end said, look, I never brought it up to you guys in person, because I wasn't sure if you were, and to be honest, I preferred not to know in order for the sake of our friendship. But now you guys have pretty much admitted it, and you've attacked me, which is something I wouldn't have done and I didn't do on all your posts about selling puppies. Not once did I ever go in and put in a comment about that. I just scrolled on by and left it at that, but you guys felt, I don't know, attacked in some way by me posting that, and in turn you basically just belittled the fact that, well, it was just like a I can't even think, a hypocritical thing that they did, because, you know, I didn't comment on their posts, and they're saying, you know, well, to each their own, you know, we have our style of life, we believe in certain things, and you should let people do what they want to do. I said, well, that's a two-way street. I said, if I post up something that is contrary to what you believe, that doesn't give you the right to come in and attack me. I would kind of expect it if, you know, it was a public post and just somebody I didn't even know got in there and started throwing things around. But I consider you guys my friends, and you don't respect my point of view. So, you know, I wouldn't have done that for the sake of our friendship, to keep our friendship, but apparently you guys don't feel the same. Right after that, and so far I haven't heard anything back from them. And the problem I'm having is I don't, because of this, I can't trust them. You know, what kind of friends just all of a sudden outright attack you because you post something that's contrary to what they believe or what they're doing, but you don't mention them, you don't, right? They just took it upon themselves to do this to someone who's supposedly a friend. So if they were just my friends, I would have no problem cutting them out of my life and saying, good riddance. But they're friends of my wife. Right? One works with my wife. The other did as well, but he changed to a different hospital. And, you know, so I don't have that option of just saying, you know what, I don't want them in my life anymore. So I'm really stressed out about that. And just, like I said, I feel really betrayed and just, you know, it's not even really like they need the money. They're just greedy. They both work in a hospital, right, for the government. Granted, they don't make fantastic money, but they make more than enough to get by on. The fact that they spend it like idiots is another issue. But then, after that, a friend posted a thing from an Uber driver talking about, you know, women need to look out for themselves. Well, I'll give you the kind of the basic of what it said. Was that it was an Uber driver, and he noticed that, you know, various times women have gotten into the Uber barely conscious. One, he gave 3 cases. One was so drunk she passed out, and he managed to get her home, but when she got home, he took her to the address that she put in. She woke up all like freaked out. She didn't know where she was and said it wasn't her home. And, you know, the guy's like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do, right? The second girl that he put in the example was really drunk, and changed the address while they were en route to, I guess, back to her house or whatever. And apparently it turned out she was picking up somebody she met on Tinder just a little while ago. And the third one was one that was so drunk or drugged or whatever, she passed out in the car, and she was so passed out that he wasn't sure exactly where to take her. And so he had to go through her things. It may sound a little iffy, but, here we have a lot of kind of like private communities. They're walled-in communities with security and everything. And you go in, and all the houses are the same. A lot of them don't even have numbers on them. So when you put in the address, it'll just give the housing development, so to speak, thing. And so you go in and you rely on somebody to tell you what number. And so anyway, he found her address on her voter registration card, got her there, and had to go knock on the door to get her parents to come and get her out of the car and take her into the house. So the whole reason he's pointing this out is because, as in everywhere in the world, but recently it's been a real focus on things here in Mexico, is that a lot of women are going missing. A lot of them are turning up dead. And this letter he wrote was to say, you guys need to take care of yourselves as well. Like, the world isn't going to look out for you simply because you can't look after yourself or don't want to. That's unfortunately not how things work. And so I posted that. I didn't say anything in the post, nothing. I just posted it. I just shared it. And this woman that I hardly ever speak to, and I used to work with her, and I hardly ever spoke to her then. She's like really conflictive person, and just like, I don't know, I got a really bad vibe out of her, but I had her on my Facebook. I keep meaning to get rid of her, but I forget. Just all of a sudden, oh, well, it's, I don't agree with this because, a guy got drunk and he got dumped in a park and nothing happened to him, or he gets dumped in front of his house and nothing happens to them. I'm like, well, that, I agree. There's a very big difference, unfortunately, between, a man out getting drunk, which he still has a propensity to be, kidnapped, robbed, murdered. But women will be kidnapped, sold into slavery, hooked into prostitution, raped, murdered. And unfortunately that exists. So I say, that's not what the issue is. The issue is that regardless of how you feel about it, you have to take some of the responsibility into your own hands. As shitty as it may be that you have to, that's the way the world is. And you can complain about it all you want, but while that, those circumstances exist in society, that, we can't go out anywhere without having to look over our shoulders or constantly be careful of where we go and who we do it with. And, if we're going out and getting drunk, then how we're going to get home safely. And, and you have to take some responsibility. It's not just, but, it's It's not right. That's the way the world is. It sucks. It really does. And I don't agree with the fact that it happens in the least. But it's a fact that it does happen, and no amount of complaining on Facebook or marching or whatever else is going to make the criminals go, oh, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, I'll stop. No. You know, they're going to do it anyway. So it's up to each individual, man and woman, to ensure that if they're going to go out and they're going to get inebriated or high or whatever, that they have someone that can take them home or go with them at least, that's in decent shape, that's not going to drink, hopefully. Or they have somebody, some kind of plan, or they just don't get shit-faced drunk and then, you know, take a taxi or an Uber home and run a very serious risk of disappearing and being found dead a week later. They just found a girl in a hotel. She was there for 10 days, sorry. She was there for 10 days. She went there with someone. Why they don't have video cameras, or if they did, why don't they have the guy already? I don't know. But I hear that they have a lot of these like hotels by the hour. And so apparently she went with somebody and they raped her and killed her. Well, I don't know if the rape is, she went voluntarily, so, but they killed her anyway. And, you know, I'm not saying it's her fault, but I am saying that people need to smarten up and stop being the victim and start taking things into their own hands in regards to their own safety. You know, I walk out of the house and I go to the corner store, which is less than a block away. I don't take my wallet. I don't take my cell phone. The only thing I take is the money I think I'm going to need to buy what I want to buy and the key to the front door. That's it. Why? Because there is a chance that I'm going to get robbed walking from my house to the corner store. And so at least if I get robbed, all they're going to get is maybe, you know, the bit of cash that I got on me to go to the store. They're not going to get all my cards. They're not going to get my phone. Right? If you're going out to a restaurant or to a bar and you're planning on partying, then you need to think beforehand of, you know, how people are going to be able to find you in the case that you're in such a state that you can't communicate as to where you are, where you're going, who you're with, whether or not you need help. You know, and it's, but anyway, this chick was like, she's just piling on me about it. Again, like this post like this big about, you know, it's not fair. And it was just like, oh, why does it seem like people just like wake up and they decide they want to fight and argue when, and take things out of context and read things that aren't even there and then just pick a fight or try to start an argument or something? Why don't people just want to be just like relaxed, just enjoy their day? I mean, it was at the beginning of the freaking day, well, like around 10, 11 o'clock, right? Like, sure, some shitty things may have happened, but I'm sure that if your day is going to shit, you still got a lot more to go. So buckle in and don't take it out on everyone else. Right? Like, I see things all the time I don't like on Facebook. I scroll right past it. It's like watching TV. If I don't like what I'm watching on TV, I change the effing channel. Right? I don't sit there and watch it and scream at the TV for half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever. Right? It makes no sense. It stresses me right the fuck out. And as well, my wife was like trying to blame me for posting what I did and and then our friends jumping on top of me. She's like, well, why'd you do that? Like, why did I do what? What, I'm not allowed to post something that I feel actually very strongly about? Right? Why? Because it might be something, I don't know, that somebody may not like. Oh my God. Something that somebody may not like. That pretty much is everything all the time, every day. Right? I probably post stuff on here on my podcast and YouTube channel that people don't like to hear. But I haven't yet received any messages saying, you know what, you shouldn't say that because I don't agree with it. I don't care if you don't agree with it. You're allowed to not agree with it. That's fine. But don't think I'm going to say, oh, well, I'm sorry. No. If you can give me a reasonable argument, without the arguing, about as to why you disagree with it so that I can understand your point of view and maybe say, oh, you know what, I didn't think of that. I'm sorry. I'll make sure to change that next time. Or if it's on my podcast, I'll go on and say, you know what, I said this and, somebody commented, made me think about it, and, I admit I was wrong, and, right? But just coming, oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't say that. Well, why? Why, because you don't agree with it? I'm sorry, I'm not made of gold so that everyone can like me. Right? I'm not a perfect being, and neither is anyone else. Sure, we're going to say and do things that may piss other people off, or that they aren't going to like, as well as people do things that we don't like. But just because they do something that we don't like doesn't give us the right to get up in their faces or, start arguing with them or, a million other things. And this is all this whole fucking cancel culture thing that it's just like this. You can't have a conversation with anyone anymore. Like, you can't just say, you know what, I disagree with your point of view because of blah, 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 blah. I feel this, right? My opinion is this. Okay, you disagree. This is your opinion. If your opinion doesn't make me change mine or doesn't necessarily give me more information than what I already have, or maybe doesn't even articulate your point very well, you're allowed to have your opinion, but I don't have to listen to your opinion, first off. I don't have to acknowledge your opinion, and I don't have to apologize for my opinion. The days where we could actually talk about differences are gone. Are gone for the vast majority. It's automatically cancel that person, boycott, delete them, get rid of them, la la la. And it's everywhere nowadays. It's an illness in our society now. Nobody can say anything that somebody else may disagree with, right? Especially if they're famous. And just recently, reading about what happened to Johnny Depp. Look at what happened to him. And it turns out none of the accusations were true. It was all her who was abusive in the extreme. Johnny Depp lost a fortune, lost contracts, lost all his movie deals. Like he was canceled. And then this psycho ex of his started the whole Me Too movement, and right, she is all famous and everything, and turns out that she's a frickin' psychopath. And Johnny Depp was innocent in all of it, but never once did he say anything. Never once did he accuse her until she tried to take away everything from him, and it went to court. And then he brunted the force of everything that came against him, waited for his day, and presented all the evidence. And now everybody's eating their words. Why? Because everyone's so quick to jump on the bandwagon. And this has always been a real problem of mine as well. When you're talking about gender equality, there often in this whole debate about gender equality, there are very exclusive parts that are always debated and always brought up. However, when you want to talk about gender equality, let's talk about the power women have. And I mean an absolute amount of power. A woman can accuse any man of anything at any time, and there will be no questions asked. He is guilty. Cops will come and take him away. Court charges will be proceeding. Right? I had this happen to me. I broke up with an ex-girlfriend. Well, with a girlfriend at the time. I broke up with her because she had 2 kids. And while I was working, she closed herself, an infant and a 3-year-old, actually, not mine. And she had closed herself up in her bedroom and proceeded to get high all day and play on her phone, and left her kids without any food, didn't change them. One kid had actually reached the coffee pot and poured coffee all over himself. I don't know if it was hot or not, but that happened. And so I told her to get the hell out of my house, get all her stuff. She called her ex. He came for them, father of the kids. And when I told him what happened, he's like, oh yeah, that was a problem that I had with her as well. Okay. And so a week later, she calls the cops and says that I hit her, which I didn't. Now, you could say, well, the whole hitting thing is there's no way to prove that, right, for an audience. However, for the police, when they came to my house, 10 police cars, 20 cops, they came. She had told them that I was 7 feet tall, 240 pounds, solid muscle. I hated cops, and I was an ex-con and extremely violent. opening the door. They should have realized that was a lie. But they ignored it. And in court, when it was pointed out, it was pushed aside. They totally ignored the fact that she had lied to the police on her telephone call. Okay? And so I was in charge. The charges were dropped, thankfully, but my life was ruined. Where I was living, I was renting in a friend's basement suite. He said, you can't stay here anymore because, 20 cop cars show up and, everyone's all freaked out. You can't stay here. So I lost where I was living. They had taken my dog and cat. I had to go get my dog, of course, at the pound. My dog was scared to death. And ever since then, until the time he died, he never wanted to be out of my sight. He never wanted me to be out of his sight. He was always freaked out that that was going to happen again. My cat, when I finally tracked her down, actually they tracked me down because I had no idea where they had taken her. They tracked me down and said, you know what, your cat is going to die. She hasn't eaten, she hasn't defecated, you need to come get her or she's gonna die. So I zoomed down there, and as soon as she heard my voice, she pooped. They said that was the first time in almost a week that she had pooped. Right? And she started meowing, and I didn't even need to take her in a box or a carrier. She was just on me, right? She missed me, right? So I had to live in my car. I had to go get all my stuff, put it in a storage locker. I had lost my job as well, by the way. And so I was living in my car with my dog and my cat out behind my dad's apartment building, which I couldn't stay with him because it was a seniors complex. And the most I could do was go in there and eat and kind of stay during the day. I would take my dog out for a walk until I found, a job and a place to stay. Now, years ago as well, I got home. A girlfriend and I were living together. I got home, and, a little bit more of a backstory. My girlfriend at the time had 3 kids. 4 kids. I love these kids to death, and I looked after them. I worked during the day. My girlfriend worked night shifts. And so I would look after the kids, make sure they're all ready for school, get them off to school, and then I would go to work. And after a few months, there was a concert. It was, what was her name? Amanda something. Anyway, I really wanted to go, but somebody had to look after the kids. My girlfriend managed to somehow get herself onto the security detail, or volunteers for I don't know, volunteer health and safety, something like that. But anyway, that night she comes home with another dude, and she basically just says, "Get out." And so I put as much of my stuff downstairs. So there was a kind of a room downstairs. I put everything down there, and I slept there. I told her, give me a couple of days, I'll get all my stuff out. And so I went and found a place to stay. went to get my stuff, organized the time to go get my stuff. And as I walked in the door, her and her mother attacked me for no reason. To this day, I have no fucking reason why they attacked me. Her mother scratched my face all the way down. All the way down. I was bleeding all over the place. So I got out of the house, went across the street, asked the neighbors to call the cops. They called the cops. Cops get there. I tell them the story. Right? Said, I want to press charges. You know what he said to me? Come on, man. You really want to press charges? You want to go into court and tell them that, you know, 2 ladies beat you up? I'm like, that's assault. Look at my face. Right? Cop's like, look, I'll be here. You can get all your stuff out and just let's leave it at that. If I was a woman and I'd walked into a boyfriend's apartment to get my stuff and he and his mother attacked me, they would have both been in jail, fucking lickety split. Okay? So, when we're talking about gender issues, or gender equality, sorry, you can't say that women do not have power in this society. They have a lot of fucking power. A lot. And unfortunately, there are a lot of psychos who really take that to the extreme. Now, I'm not calling any of you guys psychos, unless, of course, you are a psycho, then stop listening to me, please. But I'm just, gender equality is, yes, there are things that need to be fixed. But these social justice warriors that go out there to say that it's extreme and that, women are this, it's actually quite it's much fewer than what it's painted out to be, and it's a lot less critical than what it's painted out to be. Right? Sure, there are some discrepancies, of course. But let me ask you this. Can a man decide when he wants his equality and when he wants to be a man? Right? No. Man is a man, But a woman can pick and choose the moments that she wants equality and the moments that she wants to be the poor woman. Okay? Now, again, I'm not saying that there's anything inherently wrong with a woman, wanting to have a man open a door for her, having a man pull out a chair for her, having a man, be romantic and kind of treat a woman as a woman should be treated. However, there are women, and it has happened to me, when you open the door for them, they will look at you and say, I can open the door myself. When you go to pull out the chair for them, they say, I can sit myself. I'm an independent woman. Okay, great. Well, pick and choose your moments, because if you don't need a man, then when a burglar comes into your house, you're an independent woman. Go get him. You're an independent woman. You don't need any man to look after you. Okay, then how was being a single mother feel? Right? Being an independent woman that, it's all, I'm woman, hear me roar type of thing. No. Facts are facts. Things that are, and I'm not saying 50s, 60s type of relationships. But I bet there are a lot of women that still wish that those kinds of relationships existed, where a man treated a woman with respect, where a man would come home with flowers and candy. And nowadays it doesn't. Why? Because all of this has just destroyed the fabric of society. We are living hanging on to the tatters of what once was a somewhat logical and organized society, in my opinion. Okay? Again, you may not agree with all this, fine, but these are things that really bother me. And I'm not a male chauvinist pig. I'm not. What I'm saying is that a woman, yes, has every right to live in the same fashion as a man. But this whole flip-flopping between I am woman, hear me roar, and oh, I'm just an innocent little girl, is complete crap. Why? Because it leaves us, the men, always holding the glass. It's like, well, what do I do? Right? How am I supposed to treat a woman that's like that? Right? How am I supposed, especially if you're dating? Right? No, my wife is an independent woman. And I appreciate that in her. And before we ever got married, she said, I don't want to be a housewife. I want to work. I said, that's fine. We can both work. We'll make it work somehow. That's fine. I don't expect you to give up your career for me. And I've supported her in everything. When she went back to school to get her degree in family medicine, I've supported her when she's wanted to do, various courses to upgrade her skills. I've looked after my daughter, and also when I was working, I paid all the bills. I told her, you know what, I'll look after all the bills for the house. Okay? That's on me. You can save your money. We'll use some of that for just to pay for the food. That's it. I'll look after all the lights, internet, water, the whole 9 yards. I'll pay for that. And she's like, okay. Right? So we came to an agreement. So my wife is very independent, and I appreciate her for it. However, she's not the type of independent woman who is one day, oh, I can do it. I'm just, I'm an independent woman. And then the next day she's like, oh, I'm just a poor defenseless lady. No. She's like, you know what? I don't need a man to protect me. I want a man. Big difference. Right? I've seen my wife angry. She'll knock somebody out when she gets mad. She doesn't need me to step in for her. Actually, what she needs is me to step in to save the other guy or person, because she's vicious. Right? So it's this whole flip-flopping thing. I'm really, I can't do flip-flopping. I see it as just this hypocrisy. Right? And I'm so sick of hypocrisy. It's everywhere nowadays. Everywhere. Friends stabbing you in the back because you post something on Facebook. Hypocrisy in the media. Hypocrisy in just all these social issues that are going on today. Like one day somebody says, oh, this thing, and then the next day it's another thing, or somebody challenges on them on it, and they're like, well, I didn't say that, I meant it like this. Like, I feel like my my head is going to explode. I can't process all of this. It's too much. I'm just, how am I supposed to be able to figure out how to have social relationships if they can't even be consistent from one day to the next on how they're going to be? This, by the way, that couple that jumped on me about the don't buy dogs, adopt. That guy said he was going to commit suicide. I scoured the entire city to find him, and I went for him, and I made sure he got home okay. Right? So, yeah, I feel like I was stabbed in the back. I feel really fucking offended. And as well as girlfriend, who was like, I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's going to do. He just called me and said goodbye. Right? So I did all the work to go find this guy. And then later he's like, oh, you're my best friend. And, there should be more people like you out in the world. And then they do this. This is why I don't want to leave my fucking house. Well, I want to get lost in fucking movies and video games and whatever else I want to do. I'm fucking sick of being attacked for shit that isn't my fault and being blamed because other people decide that they're going to be offended by fucking something. Right? There's a lot of shit to be offended by in this world. Go find some of that shit. Leave me alone. Give me something to work with at least. You say you're going to be my friend, be my fucking friend. Don't just decide one day, you know what, fuck that guy. Or worse yet, oh yeah, he's still my friend, but fuck that guy. We're friends, right? Or purposely take offense on something, purposely misunderstand something so that you can do your whole social justice warrior thing. And then not, of course, any kind of debate or counterpoint to that is, oh, you're a fucking asshole, and that's what their whole argument ends up being, is you're an asshole because you don't agree with me. I'm sorry, my mind doesn't work that way. My mind works on facts and logic. You give me facts and logic that coincide, I'll go, okay. Lights on, I understand where you're coming from. Okay, so let's talk about this. Right? I see it as this, you see it as this. There seems to be something in the middle where we're kind of coinciding. What are we missing? We can agree. I'm fine agreeing to disagree. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. Great. I don't need to sit and argue for hours that your opinion's wrong and my opinion's right, or the way you say things is skewed because you X whatever, fill in the fucking blanks. Right? Yes, I'm having somewhat of a meltdown right now because I fucking... You know what the biggest shit in my life is? Is that I get all this stuff going on in my head and all these fucking feelings, and I get people jumping on my back. My fucking wife won't even support me on anything. I'm always wrong. Always. regardless. A fucking car hit me. A car hit me and it was my fault. According to her. Right? I got fucking nobody to talk to about this shit. And when I think I do, then it turns out they fucking stabbed me in the back. So I feel like I've got fucking zero in this world. And I don't understand this world. And I don't understand all this political, social justice warrior bullshit that's going on. You can't even fucking mutter anything before somebody jumps on your back for it and calls you a fucking pervert or a masochist or whatever else. The 100 million things that are out there nowadays to tag somebody with that doesn't agree with you. Like, I don't fucking care. Right? I accept you because you're you. I don't care about all that other shit. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what country you're from. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. If you're honest with me, you're good in my books. But the fucking second you lie to me, the second you betray me, you're gone. And people don't seem to understand. They're like, oh, well, you need to learn to get along. No. Friends are a choice. Family is a choice as well. You can choose to cut the fucking family off as well. Everyone's so goddamn shit scared of being alone nowadays that they're willing to take all kinds of bullshit from people just so they aren't alone. Well, I'm not one of them. Sorry. I was. I'm not anymore. Fucking tired of it. Tired of everything. I'm just fucking... The only thing in this whole goddamn world that is keeping me somewhat sane and stopping me from blowing my fucking brains out somewhere or driving off a cliff is my daughter. That is the only thing that keeps me hanging on. That's it. I will tell you here and now, if my wife ever asks for a divorce and says that she wants custody of our daughter, you won't ever hear from me again because I'll be dead. I'm fucking so sick and tired of this world. I'm so sick and tired of all the bullshit. I'm so sick and tired of all this. One day this, next day this. Sick and fucking tired of being the blame for everything. I'm tired of fucking just being everyone looking at me like I'm this fucking weirdo because I make sense when I talk about stuff and people go, because there's a difference between information and opinion. I don't talk if I don't have the information about the subject. Or I will sit and listen and ask questions to learn. And then maybe later I will talk on the subject with the information that I have. But I don't fucking open my mouth based on opinion about something and expecting everybody to take it as gospel, because I won't. Now I can't even watch the fucking news nowadays because all it does, it reminds me of all how manipulated everything is. You can't fucking trust anything anyone says to you nowadays. Whether it's in person, social media, fucking news, YouTube, whatever. It's you can't fucking trust anything. Even if you go looking for the information, are you sure that that information you're finding online is actually true? I always try to do the rule of three. If I find the same information on 3 different independent websites, not related to each other at all, then I can classify it as true information. But even then, are you 100% sure? Nope. Maybe 90, 95% sure. I tell you, if there's a mothership that fucking dropped us here some time ago or is coming to get us, you better hurry the fuck up. Just I don't know. I fucking. Oh, and then dealing with speaking of divorce, my wife this month has mentioned, I think, 3-4 times that, if you do this, I'll divorce you. If you do this again, I'll divorce you. I'm tired of your fuck ups. I accidentally fucked up the new garage door that we got, auto garage door. The architect, when we talked to him, I said, I want it so that I can park the car about here so we have room to go through, and then the door comes down. Okay? He says, yeah, no problem. He did the whole measurement. He says, yeah, you should be able to park right here, and you'll have plenty of space behind for the car to close. So the day that they said, okay, you can park your car in here now, I parked the car exactly where he said. I closed the door without actually, I trusted what he had told me at face value without double checking it. My bad. I should have gotten out of the car, taken a look. Okay, am I good? Is that good? Did everything work as he said it was going to? And seen that no. Instead, I pushed the button for the garage door to go down. It came down on the back window of the car, busted the fucking window, screwed up the door. My wife didn't talk to me the whole day of that, and she's still mad about it. And so she told me the other day, if you screw up one more time, I'm filing for divorce. What kind of fucking thing is that to say to someone? You think of divorce as, someone cheating on you, I don't know what else, lying to you, I don't know. To me, almost anything between a couple can be fixed except for a breach of confidence and trust. But something like that, I don't fucking... So I've got all that shit on my head. And I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to go with it. And all this shit today, and I was trying to plan a surprise birthday party for my wife tomorrow. And those motherfuckers are going. I've got the whole divorce shit hanging over my head. Right? So I'm walking on eggshells. Does that make me a happy guy? No. I'm not a happy guy. Unfortunately, I'm not that great at hiding how I feel. You know, I also see that as a form of betrayal. My wife cheated on me 3 times and invited to our wedding the guy she had sucked off while she was studying medicine. And I had asked her pointedly before we got married about that specific guy, and she looked me in the face and said no, they didn't have anything. And I find out the day after our wedding that she had. And he was in the house that we had rented, the Airbnb, in the room next to us. Right? But I sucked it up. She kept coming back to me. I never, ever looked for her after we broke up. She kept coming back to me, and she kept saying, you know, oh, I want to do things right. I want to do it right this time. You know, I was just confused. I didn't know what I wanted. La, 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 la. So the third time she come to me, she was with a guy, that one of the exes that she had cheated on me with. I said, look, you know what? I'm tired of these fucking games. If you want to be with me, then break up with that guy. Do things right. So, but you've broken my trust more than once, and don't think I'm going to let you off easy. You have to gain my trust. She's like, I know, I will. I want to do things right. I want to do things good. I want to be with you. Like, okay, let's see what happens. I firmly believe in giving the benefit of the doubt to someone who admits that they did wrong. If they can admit that they did wrong, say I'm sorry, then I'm willing to give them an opportunity, because for me that means that they have some kind of conscience about what they did. They have some humility, and realizing that they did something wrong gives them the opportunity to be better. And I gave her that opportunity. However, when it comes to me, oh, Jesus Christ, no. It's fucking, at least every 6 months she says she's going to divorce me for something. You know, and she well knows that her and my daughter are my entire life. Right? So I lose sleep over that shit. And then I look back on everything, and I'm like, fucking seriously? I have never once cheated on you. I have never done anything even remote to cheating on you. I have never passed flirty messages with anyone, nothing. I have been dedicated to her since the day we decided to get back together and then to get married. Like, okay, we're married. This is my life. You are my life. Everything we do together. We agree on it. And that's it. It's you and me. And so for her to come out and say shit like that over just really ridiculous shit, you know, really meaningless shit when it comes down to relationships, material stuff, to say that makes me wonder, does she really love me? Or is she regretting ever marrying me? And I've actually asked her a couple of times, do you regret marrying me? She's like, no. You're just difficult sometimes. I realize I'm difficult sometimes. I try not to be, but that, to me, that isn't reason for divorce. I've never hit her. We've had some pretty heated discussions or arguments, but she's punched me a couple of times. I've never hit our daughter in anger. I've spanked her bum a couple of times and never hard. You know, so like, why does that word even enter into your mind? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'm really tired. And the only thing keeping me together is my daughter. That's it. It's the only thing keeping me together. I don't know what else to do. I try doing everything I can to make my wife happy without sacrificing our daughter's mental and emotional health by having her always with, other people to look after, because here there aren't babysitters. You either hire someone to come and stay in your house and they do the whole 9 yards, like a nanny, or you take them to family or friends and they care for them for some couple hours. My daughter needs her mom and dad, not everyone else. My wife has even said, if you die, I'll probably send Sophie to live with my family in Acapulco. I'm like, fuck you, Will. You wanted a kid, you accept the responsibility, you find a way to deal with it. The same way that I would if something happened to you. I'd never send my daughter off to live with my family, even if I had them. Because it's my daughter, it's my responsibility. I love her and I want her to grow up with her daddy and her mommy. But if God forbid something happened to either one of us, that is no excuse to get rid of her, just like, oh, well, you're no longer convenient, so I need you to go somewhere else where they can take after you, take care of you. So I do everything I can to try and work around that. My daughter's getting to the age where, she's in kindergarten now. Here they have, 3 years of kindergarten before they go into primary school. So she's in kindergarten for 3 hours during the morning. And once we actually get all the construction here finished, everything painted and stuff, I can actually start giving consultations. And you may be questioning, how can this motherfucker be a psychologist? Look at the state he's in. Believe me, I'm letting it out right now, but I generally try and deal with it very internally in my own way. And when it comes to dealing with other people, I shut everything down so I can focus on them. And I'm also trying to get another job that is teaching English 3 hours a day online, but as well, for 3 hours, sure, if depending on the time, my daughter likes to go with one neighbor, she can go and play with the neighbor for a while, and that's cool. But I'm not going to ship my daughter off for an entire day until, 7, 8 o'clock at night, from 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. until we get home to have my kid. I'm not going to have somebody else raise my child. It's not fair to her. Anyway, I'm just, I think I went way off course of where I was actually trying to go with this at the start, and I just feel like I have the weight of the world right here in my chest. And my head is just a mess of spaghetti right now because I can't figure out why people are doing this and why they're being this way when I consider them friends, and the way my wife reacts about it all, and just like, I need to get this off my chest, and I thought the best way to do it, maybe, I don't know, somebody else will go, holy shit, I've been going through that as well. Or seeing that, kind of flipping out and swearing your face off and talking like a maniac, maybe, other people do that as well. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to cut it off. I've been yapping for an hour and 10 minutes, so. Another episode of Peeling Back the Mask. This has been your host, Jason Davis. Thank you for listening or watching, and I will see you next time.